The Three Wide Racing League began their Grand National Series a couple weeks ago at Daytona. And though it ended in fire and smoke at the conclusion, we're going to return to the West Coast for the Three Wide Racing League in Fontana, California. Welcome to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and DeCuna tonight for the second running of the Three Wide Racing League Grand National Series. From Fontana, California, Club Speedway. Time to go racing tonight, Finney, and for 88 laps around this 2-mile speedway. A lot of speed, a lot of multiple grooves that we can run here tonight, Finney. And so what do we expect out of this 88-lap event?
I think you can definitely expect some great racing. These guys are going to be able to utilize multiple lines. You hear some of the cars down on the track already starting to qualify here at Fontana. Let's try to take a look down at the track, see who's already out there laying down some times.
Yeah, already Nick Indelicato in the 51 was one of the quickest drivers at Daytona. Ultimately didn't end up getting the victory, although he probably should have with how quick he was. So qualifying is underway now, and of course the scoring tower on the left-hand side of the screen to update you throughout the night on everyone's positions. So Indelicato in the 51 car is out on track, about to begin his lap. And let's also kind of address the elephant in the room here, Finian, with the new damage model this week. Is the first time that SimTV is broadcasting an event with the new damage model on this K&N Impala. So what does that mean? If you hit something, first of all, it looks a lot cooler, and second of all, it will disable your car a whole lot more than it did in the past.
Yeah, I was going to say there's going to be a much greater chance that you end up not finishing this race due to the damage model, either destroying the suspension or something of the like. So it's going to be a lot easier to do. So these guys are going to have to be a little bit more careful here when they're making moves on one another. As you look at Indelicato down the back straight into turn 3.
So off into turn 3, and he has yet to lay down a time in that 51, but 11 drivers already have it. It's Tanner Sharp at the top of the board. Now Levi Zielinski goes quicker, off into the corners, finishing at 185 miles an hour as we ride on board with Zielinski, but then you're down to about 160, 155 to the middle of the corners before you get back on throttle.
These guys are really moving fast around this place. Right, oh, the 97 into the wall. He's going to end Zielinski's run here. He's going to bring it down to stop.
Carlos Acosta off into turn 1, 186 miles an hour. And getting that thing all the way down to the apron. Now, tire wear, big issue here at Fontana. It's a bumpy racetrack. It's a rough surface. Just watch this car as it heads down the back straight, how bumpy it is, Finian. The tire wear tonight going to be something to watch out for, especially if you get a long green flag run. What are some strategies you can do to avoid that tire wear? I mean, are you running different lines? Are you just running less hard? What's the strategy here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just, not running as hard as you normally would. You don't want to push 100% every lap. You're easily going to destroy your tires if you do so. And again, you have to remember you can blow a tire with the new tire model as well on these cars, and it's very easily to do so if you're pushing. So you need to, back it off a little bit. Just kind of watch how the guys around you are running, and just keep an eye on it. You want to run lightly over the course to run. Don't push the tire too far.
So is Matt Gruenberg out on the racetrack right now in the 54 car, and his team worked so well together in the closing moments of Daytona. Ultimately, the 54 did not go to victory lane, but championed pretty much everything in seasons past here, Finian. So what are the chances that he gets his party started tonight in Fontana and begins a championship run?
I think there's a really high chance of it to see him come across the line. Where is he going to end up on the board for his first time by the stripe?
Looks like it's a 42.6, which will put him just shy of, didn't actually count, so I think it was an invalid lap due to maybe some wall contact. 40 seconds left in qualifying. It's going to be close to get his lap in. 21 drivers have laid down times, a few still remaining to put in. Justin Kolb, Richard Hines, Matt Hackathorn still have not put down laps.
Yeah, that time that he came across the line, I would have put him around 12th place, so we'll see. He's got to put in a time now. Otherwise, he's going to end up starting on the back of the pack. You see him rocket out of turn 4.
Out of turn 4, Matt Gruenberg across the start-finish line. Where will he end up to start tonight? And across the line, it will be a 42.570. It's only going to be good enough for about 8th or 9th place. And again, didn't count his lap again, Finney. He's always had issues with that. Could be internet discontinuity or something, but it has not counted his lap, and he'll start tail of the field tonight.
A lot of issue for the 54, but yeah, like you said, going to be starting way in the back of the pack. Looks like he's going to be lining up 23rd on tonight's grid.
So, beginning to line up tonight, 88 laps around here, Finney. And your thoughts? What are the keys to the race here tonight, other than stay out of trouble?
I think definitely, as we were talking about earlier, with the surface as old and abrasive as it is, you're going to definitely have to watch the tire wear out for tonight. If you push too hard, you're definitely going to pay the price. Not only just a tire potentially going flat, you're going to definitely feel the car start to drive like a tank through these corners, and you're going to start losing touch with some of the guys they're racing around with. So you're definitely going to have to watch the tire wear. Also, as you were saying, you know, you got to definitely watch out for each other with the new damage model. Going to be a lot easier to retire the car, and just got to really just watch your equipment overall.
So let's take a look at our starting lineup here tonight. Just over 20 drivers lined up here. Here is a look at our starting grid. On the inside of the front row, Corey Lindsay, the 00, and Tanner Sharp, the number 3. Both those drivers, the 3 especially, up front a lot at Daytona.
And we'll see if we can continue that here at California. Moving back to row number 2, we got Levi Zielinski in the 97, who's going to be lining up on the inside lane next to Kevin Finn in the 14 in 4th.
Back in row number 3, starting in 5th place tonight, Brandon Klooster, who's in that gold and black number 94. He'll line up along the 77 of Drew Eisenman in his Ford Fusion.
We'll be back another row in 7th. We find Nick Indelicato in the 51 towards the inside lane next to Justin Gable in the 13, who's going to be starting in 8th.
New driver, I believe, to the series as well, so he'll roll off 8th place. Race Clark, the number 22, in 9th place, and Sam Close making his return to Fontana in 10th place tonight.
Moving on back to 11th, we find James Miller in the 09. He's going to be lining up the inside lane, and next to him, Nathan Velez in the 48. Struggled at Daytona. We'll see if he can bounce back here in 12th.
In row number 7, 13th place, it'll be Jess Story in the number 7. Didn't have a great run at Daytona. Carlos Acosta will roll off 14th in the number 2.
Moving back to 15th, we find Jordan McKeeboy in the 21. He's going to be lining up the inside lane. And next to him in the 15 car is Chad Frankfield in 16th.
Gridding complete, and 17th and 18th will be Gerald Campbell in the 31 and Dustin Dewar in the 32. So 31 and 32 starting 17th and 18th tonight as the field gets ready to peel off pit lane.
19, we have Brett Miller in the 89 car. We have quite a few more cars back that not on the gridding graphic.
This will no longer be an issue after we implement our new graphics package. So again, if you want to watch behind the scenes tonight, you can head over to our channel Sim TV. You're already there if you're watching, or you're on Facebook, so thank you for joining us. You can watch all the behind the scenes action with the behind the stream that goes on. We have one of those every stream. And as we get lined up for the start tonight, I'll remind you that the behind the streams are exclusive members only content after the race completes. So you can join us at the Sim TV, the middle level or higher, to get access to these streams in video on demand form, but you can watch them live for free. Head over to our store at simtvbroadcasting.com/store. We got an exclusive offer right now for a t-shirt and a vinyl decal for sale right now for $23. Limited time offer only. So make sure you head over there and grab those before stock runs out. Now down into turn 3, Finney, and time to go racing. 88 laps tonight. Here's a race rundown, 176 miles in Fontana, California. And wide banks, low grip racetrack, but certainly high speeds down the straightaways. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is getting lined up two abreast as we get ready for the green flag here.
Starter has the green flag in hand. The stands are empty as everyone stays home to avoid spreading the virus, but time to go racing from Fontana. Green flag flies, and we're racing from California.
Drew Eisenman in the wall in the 77. He's going to be dropping down the field. You see everyone spreading down the back straightaway, trying to avoid him.
That's the 09 of James Miller. That looked to the outside of Race Clark. No hole there. They were 3 wide through turns 1 and 2, but now we're through turns 1 and 2 and out to 3 and 4. And it was Nick Indelicato that was in the middle of that 3 wide situation. He's moved himself up into 6th after starting in 7th, so a good climb so far. Lap 1 complete. Corey Lindsay.
Oh no! Off the nose of the 3, hard into the wall. Caution out.
And just like that, from pole to destroyed as the field scatters to try to miss him. And that car is shortened up significantly. The rear end all smashed in.
Yeah, that was a teammate that helped him around. His teammate in the 3, Tanner Sharp. I think that was just a bump drive gone wrong between both of them.
So caution out on lap number 2. What happened to Corey Lindsay? Here's a look. Push gone wrong here, Finian. A hard hit. Another look. This bump draft that just hooked him the wrong direction.
As we say again, the nose is rounded on the start, so you're going to do a great job avoiding.
Now, another side effect of this new damage model that can't really be understated is how much less these cars ping-pong around now. if this was a week ago, this car would have flown straight back into traffic, but now it realistically gets rid of all the energy as soon as it pats itself in the wall, and he slid back down the racetrack without causing more damage than was necessary. So he might be able to get that car repaired. It's got fairly significant rear end damage, but at least that's not the nose.
Yeah, I'll definitely see how if he's knocked the rear axle out of the line or something, or had damage to the tire. As far as the bodywork damage, that shouldn't be too much of a concern. We'll definitely see how much he can get fixed.
So Kevin Finn now takes over second place, and you're going to see the 3 car drop to the tail of the field here, Finn. And that's an awful feeling as a teammate to, on lap number 1, you're at the top of the world with your team up front, and then moments later, you've turned your teammate into the wall as quickly as he got to the lead.
And he's now going back to join him for causing that incident. So not a good start for Valori Motorsports.
Yeah, you see the damage is thankfully on the left rear, but you see the right rear fending and how that rear panel's hanging out. That's going to act like a parachute and slow this car down at a straight line. So unless he gets that repaired mostly, it's going to be a detriment to at least the straight line speed on this car.
Immediately pull off down a pit road.
Fairly square along the right side, though, so he might have gotten away with it in some respects. But not the way you wanted to start your night, especially after winning pole.
Really going to be back in 24th. There's an interesting thing, just because someone mentioned it in the chat. So, someone was asking about, what year the car is based off of. So, you know how iRacing has the abbreviation for the car?
Yep.
It's listed as NW09.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah, so and I'm assuming that's nationwide 09.
Yeah, so actually, my understanding, and this could be incorrect, because I know when on the Gen 4 bodies, the Cup car and the nationwide car at the time were different dimensions bodywork-wise.
Right.
They shared the same chassis, but the bodywork was different dimensions. However, from my understanding, originally this car, I believe, was built as a Cup car before the COT was originally launched, back when iRacing was constructing the simulator. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but we do know that it eventually launched as the Class B, the nationwide at the time race car. So it never was a Cup car in the sim, but to my understanding, it was constructed as a Cup car originally. I don't know what the dimensions of the car are, but all I know is that that's a rumor that I've heard floated around. I'm not sure if there's any truth to that or not.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, too, I remember, too, you're saying as the cars, being fairly similar. I remember growing up when I found out about the Nationwide, then the Nationwide series, I was looking at it, I was like, what's the difference? What's the difference between these cars? Because as a kid, I didn't know the cars look almost exactly the same for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, so they do look the same because they were mostly the same. There were some small differences, but again, I think it was the dimensions. I believe that the nationwide car was a little bit wider and a little bit longer. So it was just slightly larger in dimensions. I don't know if it was taller. I think it was about an inch or two taller. It was not a totally insignificant change, but you would never notice it from standing. If you put them side by side, you might be able to tell.
Interesting if the nationwide car would be bigger.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be the case, but that's what I remember. I remember that my parents got me a book about NASCAR racing, like when I was like 10, and I think that was like a tidbit in there. But that was 2005, 2006 era. But either way, I'm really glad that in the most recent iRacing build, they took off the stamped Chevy decals so that drivers could run whatever they want.
Yeah.
It looks really cool to have old Camrys and Tauruses and I don't even know what the Dodge is. That's not a Charger. That would have been a... what would that have been?
Avenger?
No, the Avenger wasn't a thing yet. I'm trying to remember what Dodge model that was.
That would be a Challenger. I don't think it could be anything.
No, it was something else. I don't think the Charger was even a thing that in this generation. Somebody will tell us. What Dodge is that? I would like look up 2003 or something because that's when they came back. Dodge model maybe. Well, that was the Charger, but that was newer. So what's that? Look at Intrepid. Oh, Intrepid. That's the one. That's the car we were thinking of. But we're too young for this. We were like 5 when Intrepids were around. Yeah, that's the 2005 or 6 is when they brought the Charger in. But yeah, it's the Dodge Intrepid. Now, to my understanding, it was, yeah, 05 or 06 when the Charger came, and then they put that trapezoid nose on it, for lack of a better term. So we're coming back to the green flag here in just a moment. We had a caution on lap 2 for our leader getting turned nose first into the outside wall. So we're going to try to do this again. And of course, Tanner Sharp has also gone to the tail of the field. Corey Lindsay is still on the lead lap, but still receiving service in pit lane. That car's probably got some, it's actually mostly repaired.
Yeah, I think, did he go lap down? Or
no, he's still on the lead lap, so he's come back in.
Yeah, so I think he's just going to try to get there out as late as he can. If anything, he's just going to floor it to the restart, leaving the pits now.
I'm not sure if he's going to get back around, but he'll have a head of steam if he gets there. So the pace car about to peel back off again. It's Levi Zielinski on the outside, Kevin Finn on the inside. Then Kluserhus and Delicato in 4th, and Sam Close, Race Clark 5th and 6th. Frankenfield, Velez, Grunberg, and Brent Miller rounding out your top 10. Pace car is peeling off again. We'll try this again. Lap number 7 for the restart. 88-lap race tonight. Zielinski in control of the field on the outside lane. Green flag back in the air, racing again from Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Down the back straightaway this time, a little bit cleaner through here. We didn't see anybody get squeezed up on the inside. I think that's Chad Frankenfield in the 15, and Velez chasing him down. Here comes Justin Kolb, almost won the Cup Series championship at the tail end of 2019, and he wants more. He wants revenge. He wants to win the championship this year on the inside of the 48 out of turn number 4.
Yeah, able to make the pass on him, but at the line it's going to be Zielinski that'll lead the lap.
Look at the scramble behind him, the 3 car in the middle of all this traffic after having to go to the tail of the field. Look at this mess as they head towards turn number 1.
Everyone's scrambling for spots here. You see the 32 Dustin Dewar in the middle on that 18. Trying to find his place line. Also, I see Acosta in the background was riding the outside lane.
Trying to build up some momentum. We're going to see if that really comes into play at all tonight, Finney. Do you think that lane will come in, or is that just kind of fantasy and it'll be for the bottom most of it?
Oh, no, I definitely think it's going to come in. I can already see a few guys kind of inching their way up there a little bit. They're running more so the middle lane. But I definitely feel I'll gravitate towards the top as this run goes on.
Chad Frankenfield taking a look at Race Clark. This is for 6th place as they come across the line to complete lap number 8. And behind them, Matt Grunberg to the inside of Justin Kolb for 9th. Whoa, no, the 15!
Oh.
Horrible collision to the outside wall, and caution out for the second time as he slides down the racetrack. And a second car turned head-on into the outside wall, and this time, more damage to this car. And I don't think...
Yeah, he's got significantly more damage than Corey Lindsay had.
Yeah, that was a vicious impact. Reminiscent of Brad Keselowski's 2007 crash, I believe it was. And what happened here? And he might have gotten cleared in front of Race Clark and then just turned slightly at the last possible moment here. Oh yeah, right there. Crossover and slams into the outside wall. It's a vicious impact there as well.
Slight contact there right between the bumpers.
Oh, that's driver's side too.
Yeah.
Right on board with Frankenfield. He probably never saw this coming. And he snapped around really quickly. Could have been worse. Could have gone bumper first. Back down the racetrack. And it all happens so fast, Finney. You go off into the corner and you think you got him cleared. He's just going to slide up the 22, turns down. He thinks he's cleared and he's just not quite there. And, oh, man. And look at the 52 of Justin Kolb and all these other drivers trying to squeak on past before they get involved. But both impacts so far have been pretty severe ones as we got our second caution out. Field's going to hit pit lane.
Yep, everyone looks like they're going to make the trip on down. Doesn't look like we're going to have any up. As I say that, someone stayed out.
That should be Josh Clark in the 28. He's going to climb up the order.
They're going to see Chad Frankenfield on the bottom screen, avoiding going a lap down.
He will leave pit lane to catch back up to the field, come back down again. So Josh Clark, Finian, different strategy here for him. What do you think about this move? I mean, we've only really run about a lap and a half of green flag racing. Do you think the tires are worth changing at this point?
Probably not, but I mean, I don't know. I would think it's probably worth it, you know, just coming in, just to be on sequence of everyone else. You know, being the only car out there with this kind of strategy, it's going to be kind of put them off sequence. Woo! And you see the race off the pit road, it's going to be Cluserus that'll win the race off.
Kevin Finn was awful close to beating him. It looks like Tanner Sharp, I wonder if he took 2 tires here potentially. Yeah, he did. 2 tires, gains some spots. He'll restart in 6th, so that's a good call for him.
That's a smart call, I would say. Definitely, I think 2 tires would probably be a decent call to make, considering the amount of laps they ran.
Yeah, so still too early in the race for 4 tires to really be effective, but not far enough that 2 tires would be ineffective. So I'm on board with that. So we've had 2 cautions so far at Auto Club Speedway, and one of them was Corey Lindsay, turned to the outside wall. He's back down on pit lane, still likely repairing this car. So there must, and it's almost completely repaired at this point.
It looks significantly better. He's going to roll back off, so it doesn't need a whole lot more damage to fix. And I think actually he might be complete with his repairs.
And Chad Frankenfield is getting there. He's still, I mean, that car, you know, considering the impact that he took, it was to the side. I'd rather hit with the side than the front if you're talking about aerodynamic damage, especially the left side of all things, probably the least important side of the car from an aerodynamic perspective.
Ooh, he might go a lap down here.
Yeah, he probably will, and it might be worth it at this point, honestly. You know, fix the car up. You got plenty of time. You might as well go down a lap. You're going to be the only one down a lap for a while. You might as well take advantage of it, and maybe hope for a quick yell to get your lap back. We'll see if that is the case here.
Yeah, no. Going down a lap. The thing I think definitely needs to avoid is going down 2 laps.
Yes, then you're stuck.
Yeah, then that's when you're going to run into some problems. But I think you should. We've seen that he was able to leave pit road earlier, so yeah, I think just sitting there, getting as much repaired as possible, I think is a good call.
So we haven't seen a whole lot of racing yet, but what we have seen is drivers are cutting it really close, and I think they're discovering very quickly that these cars interact slightly differently than they used to with car-to-car contact. And I think that's something that all the drivers in the field are going to have to learn, because in the past you might have been able to get away with a little bit of rubbing and bumping. But now, with this new damage model, parts are going to bend and twist, and you're not going to get away with things that you used to get away with, especially when it comes to hitting the wall. So, I mean, there's definitely a learning curve here, for sure. And this is something that you want to learn now, before you go off into the season where it really is going to matter at the tail end of the season. So figure it out now while you still can, while you still got points to lose.
And speaking of which, next week we go to Lime Rock for not 1 but 2 races there. It's going to be a doubleheader.
I'm really excited to see these cars at Lime Rock Park and a brand new course.
Yeah.
And iRacing
Don't know if we're using the Grand Prix layout or if we're using the Classic.
I hope we're using the Grand Prix because I feel like it'll put on a better race, but either way.
Yeah, I feel like they might, just because, I don't know.
I think when the actual series, I feel like they did go there at one point. I could be wrong.
What, the Xfinity series or
no,
the
no,
K&N?
Yeah, I think K&N went there. I feel like they ran the Classic layout. Could be wrong. It's so hard to make passes at that layout in a stock car. I guess we'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
They did race there. Yeah. I wasn't just dreaming it up. Which is good, because I remember it being kind of cool to watch. And let's see what layout they did run. Back in 2010.
Speed Channel.
Speed Channel is a big throwback. I was a big fan. Rick
Allen
and Phil Parsons. All right, let's see. How do we do? We're watching a video in the background, so don't mind us. We're being quiet. We're watching Lime Rock highlights.
On the back stretch. And...
Oh no, they did use the chicane. I wonder if that was always the case.
I guess so.
Huh.
I have no clue reason, but we'll find out.
We'll find out next week. Right here on Sim TV. All right, time to go racing again. From Fontana, California, this will be the 3rd start of the night, as we had 2 cautions in the first dozen laps or so. Josh Clark in the outside lane, leading the way back to the green flag. Green flag flies again, and racing from Auto Club Speedway. The 94 to the inside lane, going to go defensive down towards turn number 1. There's Tanner Sharp, crosses over in front of the 5 car of Sam Close.
Yeah, everyone fanning out across turns 1 and 2 now, getting single file on the exit. Kevin Finn having a look up the inside of Brandon Kluster, who's up for 3rd place.
For 3rd off into turn number 3. Here comes Nick and Delicato for the lead down in turn 3. Big dive to the inside. Wonder if he'll be able to clear him. Not quite though, Finney. It's hard to get a run on the inside.
Yeah, remember the 28 stayed out under the last caution. He's got the oldest tires of anyone in the field. Granted, they didn't get a lot of green flag laps in, but it looks like it's mattering just a little bit, as 51's going to lead the first lap after the restart. And
Kevin Finn continuing his fight on the 94 off into the corner. 188 miles an hour for the 14. On the inside, trying to carry some momentum, and Delicato's going to go to the lead down in turn 1.
Oh, he's going to clip the apron though. You can hear the tires as he gets a little bit looser to the inside. It's going to ruin his momentum. There goes the 94. Kluster's on the outside. Even the 3 of Tanner Sharp too.
Whoa! Rubbing in the background is the 09 of James Miller, and the 22 of Race Clark made a little bit of contact on the back straightaway, and Clark's going to go way up the racetrack. Here comes Justin Gable in the 13 to try to squeeze up the inside.
These guys are racing nose to tail here. They have to be careful, make sure they don't make a mistake. You can take out a lot of cars if they do. They're running so close, and here we go, 3 wide for 2nd place.
Almost 4 wide for a moment, and Delicato up ahead of this. And here comes a 3 slicing and dicing to the bottom of the racetrack down into turn number 1. And that is the 97 is Zielinski, 3 wide up the middle of the racetrack, trying to get a top 5 spot.
Great move to the inside. You see the 28 slowly drifting on back with the lower tires. Not able to hang on. Tanner Sharp with that 2-tire color working out for him pretty well. Not too surprised there, as he's going to now have a look up the inside of Kluster's.
Yeah, I can't really say that 4 tires has been the obvious call in an 11-lap, mostly caution or flag run. So something we'll know for later, especially if we get into some late race restarts. The 97 up the middle, 3 wide again. The 14 and the 94 sandwiching the 97 down the front straightaway.
We're going to do 4 wide. Kevin Finn's going to try to make it 4 wide. No, he's going to get blocked by Sharp on the inside.
Maybe that's not a wise mover, and I think the 3 car saw that, and off into turn 1 we go again. And here comes the 5 of Sam Close to chuck it up the middle.
Oh, and here comes Grunberg, a big send off into turn 1 as he's trying to close in on this group.
Good classic NASCAR racing from Fontana, California on Sim TV. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Facebook and on YouTube and behind the stream. Zielinski holds 2nd, Sharp in 3rd. 4th place still a battle, Finn and Close. Finn in the black car, Close in the blue one.
Final Close trying to work that outside lane. Going to go a little bit high in turn 4. He's got to watch out for that wall.
Oh, and he's just going to squeeze it back on course. And down the front straightaway, Grunberg to the inside. Grunberg's come up quite a ways through the field from 23rd to 5th.
Remember, didn't get a qualifying time in, started in the back, and now the great climb forward. We'll see now it's going to be a little bit harder. He's fighting some really strong cars.
And going to get right up in front of the number 5. And Close's going to try to cross him over.
Close now with a great run to the inside, going to try to get some sort of side draft or anything on the 54 Grunberg.
Off into turn 3. Behind him, James Miller trying to hold off Gable and Klusterhuis.
Guys on the apron to try to get these things rotated.
And you would do that. You get down on the apron here. The banking is flat enough where you're really not sacrificing a lot of the banking to use that shorter route. And Gable's in the middle of a 3-wide situation. That black and white number 13 to the inside. That's Gerald Campbell in the 31. Last week's winner or a couple weeks ago, our winner from Daytona.
Trying to fight his way back up to the front here. Comes running in 8th.
Now, Josh Clark stayed out, and this has not worked for him.
No.
I would say 2 tires seems to have been the correct call, as it took the least amount of time and gave you the most advantage. That's Tanner Sharp right now, who's up in 3rd and looking for 2nd.
Yeah, and again, that car's still looking in a way he's able to pass. He's not a victim. Not slowly dropping down the order. He's being aggressive up to the front, trying to get now around Levi Zielinski for the 2nd place spot.
Not a lot of space for these 2 drivers as they exit turn number 4. Drag race down the front straightaway, and now Kevin Finn wants to be a part of it.
And they made up a lot of time this last lap through. They made up almost 2/10 on Indelicato. And they did similar to the lap prior to that.
Whoa, almost contact there. Wow, they're playing with inches. They've already seen a couple drivers get turned around, nose first into the wall. Here comes the 97, right on the bumper out of turn 2.
I thought these guys playing with fenders at Daytona. Looks like they still haven't stopped with that. They're still going to do the same here at California.
Off into turn 3, 181 miles an hour for Tanner Sharp, and the 97 is Zielinski. Side by side behind him, Miller and Close door to door.
How close these guys are getting into each other side by side off of turn 4. It's still off for the front. Battle for the lead. Four-way battle for the lead now as Zielinski's going to take over second spot.
Yeah, and Delicado has the top spot for now, but Zielinski and Sharp continue their battle. They have not lost time. They have gained it back. So Delicado's tires are starting to burn off, and we see comers and goers with this tire and this car in general. You can burn your stuff up early in the run. Look at the 97 sliding up in front of the 3 on corner exit.
Yeah, Sharp was getting a great run off the corner, but had to let off for the 97 to let him get in line. And here comes Matt Grunberg in the 5th place spot. He's not done yet.
5 cars battling for the lead in Fontana as we race off into turn number 3. And there's lots of battles throughout the field. We're focusing on the ones closest to the front. Here comes the 14 to the outside on corner exit. No hole yet.
He's going to try to get some sort of run here. He's got to pick a lane. He's going to pick no lane, go up the middle. It's all a matter of gaining momentum here before they get to the corner.
Next lap by will be the 1/4 mark of this race. And still door to door for second place, Finian.
Zielinski going a little bit high off the 2. That's going to ruin some of his run. Wow,
that was close to the wall.
Keeps it off the wall, yeah.
And here comes the 14 to the inside again.
Let's see the 3 10 Sharp. He's going to finally get clear of Zielinski. Now Grumber is going to have a crack at it.
No one breaking away. 1/4 of this race is done, but they look like they're racing on the white flag lap. And Delicado continues to lead behind him. It's a 4-car fight for second place. And even James Miller in 6th is starting to reel this group in.
Yeah, Campbell in behind also starting to catch. So the field's starting to close back up as soon as it kind of expanded.
Josh Clark's fall has kind of stopped now. I'm not sure if the tires have kind of started to even themselves out, but he was dropping a bunch of positions, and he has kind of stopped falling down the order now.
So, all right, call for the 13. I think this was more or less around where he was running before he came into the pits.
Yeah, so maybe we can't really make that all the tires' fault. Off into the corner behind him. How about the Brent Miller car? He was up as high as 10th earlier in this race. Started 19th, down to 22nd place now. Seems like he's struggling, as is Carlos Acosta in the 2. And Chad Frankenfield, for all the damage that he has sustained, he's actually running fairly decent lap times, only 2/10 off the leaders.
Looks like that call paid off. Granted, though, these guys have gotten fairly strung out, so the odds of caution greatly diminished. Still, as I say that,
slide!
Zielinski
Woo!
dead sideways in the middle of 1 and 2.
That was a crazy slide up the course. How did he save that, Finney? That was pretty crazy here. Let's take a look. Just gets off into the corner, and I think he just gets unstable.
Oh, did he put the apron?
Oh, yeah, got the apron. Wow, look at that thing slip and slide up the track.
These guys love to prove me wrong, don't they? As I said that.
Woo! Man, he was hanging on.
Great recovery. He's going to drop back to 6th, though, and that's allowed James Miller on the 09 to get past him for 5th.
For the lead, here comes Tanner Sharp to the inside of Nick and Delicado for the top spot here in Fontana on lap number 25.
And Sharp not close enough to make a dive, but is definitely all over the back of the 51 now. That gap has absolutely shrunk. He's ready to fight for the lead, but definitely don't count out the 14 of Kevin Finn riding behind in 3rd. He's waiting.
Is this car not the best stock car in the service?
Yeah, no, this is what I expect to see.
This is what racing should be.
This is the Xfinity car. Really good racing.
Spectacular stuff here in Fontana. Josh Clark has actually gained a spot back. He's up to 12th position now. Eisenman and Jordan McKeeboy fighting for 16th position.
McKeeboy, remember, hit the wall in turns 1 and 2 on the opening lap. Kind of never hasn't entirely rebounded since then.
Cloud has come over the speedway as well, potentially cooling the track off. Today, it's 66, pretty cool day out there. Track temp 89. We could see that drop significantly if we get prolonged cloud cover here in Fontana.
Total change for the top few guys. In fact, it looks like Grummer is starting to fall back off. I think he pushed the car maybe a little bit too hard.
Potentially. Also behind them, Gerald Campbell, our Daytona winner, is slicing and dicing. He's up to 6th place and climbed up from 17th.
Yeah, and actually as he goes to try to take a bigger arc into the corner, let's allow the 13 Justin Gable, who's also been moving up with him, to have a look up the inside now. Zielinski doing the best he can to try to recover from that wicked spin that he had.
185 miles an hour off into the corner. Imagine if these were the Cup spec cars, Vinny, and 800 horsepower. Doing 215 off into turn number 1. Oh, a little bit of a wobble by the 31 car.
Here comes Campbell now with a look on Gable. Battle for what should be 6th place.
Up at the front again, Tanner Sharp has tracked down Indelicato and got the left front tire down there on the apron. He is chasing that leader. And we're going to have a battle for the lead on the front stretch again. And a block.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say he's got a nice look up the inside with the 51 with a block. Let's see what Sharp's going to do if he's going to wait on this, or maybe he'll look up the outside. Another 51 goes to block him there as well.
Great battles for the lead here. Tanner Sharp all over Indelicato for that lead at the exit of turn number 2. Gerald Campbell also fighting with Levi Zielinski for 7th as they rocket down the back straight.
Sharp's been really close. He wants to make a move up the inside of the 51, which is not enough of a run to really get alongside, so he's going to have to keep on waiting. The battle died down between Zielinski and Campbell.
Yeah, Zielinski's got a lot of pace tonight. Even though he slipped a couple laps ago, he really looks fast, and I do think that he'll be a force to be reckoned with tonight. And also, Kevin Finn has begun to close down on these leaders as they head off into turn 1.
Yeah, saying don't count out this 14 just yet. I think he's waiting for his moment to strike later in the run here. I'm hoping he saved enough tire, otherwise he's going to really not have much for these guys up ahead. And I definitely feel like Sharp's going to be one of the first guys we see to fall off, because he's been really aggressive.
We've seen about a half a second of fall off since the restart, running a half a second slower. Here's Indelicato's times. A 42.5 is his best lap, an average of 169 miles an hour. His previous lap, 43.0.
Someone way up high, and it's Kevin Finn.
And he'll lose a spot to Grunberg with all that.
Yeah.
James Miller also having a pretty solid day so far in 5th place. And here we go for the lead again. Tanner Sharp getting greedier and greedier using that apron on the front straight. Fair game, legal racetrack here. But you have to be... Can't take anybody out when you come back up onto the racetrack, and that will probably be a factor at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely have to be careful the way you make your moves, with these two starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Campbell and Zielinski still going at it. These two can't break off of one another.
Yeah, they are stuck together like glue.
Whoa!
Miller, big slide to the inside lane.
Not sure what that was about, if he almost got into one of the cars are just getting off the wall. Zielinski now trying to rocket back around the outside of Gerald Campbell off of turn 4. Going to get a decent run off the corner. It's going to be a drag race down the front straightaway for both of them. Moving up, still looking at these two battles. I'm still amazed. I'm actually a little bit surprised now at this point. I would have thought Sharp had enough laps to try to work around the 51, but it looks like he's just kind of sitting in behind.
3rd place again, continue to fight side by side on the back straight. Grunberg and Kevin Finn. And Miller trying to close the gap, and Justin Gable as well. But let's talk about the multi-groove racing here at Fontana, because, the bottom of the racetrack seems to be the best place to be, but maybe these cars don't, it's a cool racetrack today, so maybe the inside lane is the preferred line. If it was hot and these cars had more power, I think the outside would probably be the place to be.
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen some guys experiment with the middle line, which for all intents and purposes might as well be the outside line for these cars with the amount of power they have. A few guys experimented, but yeah, I think as the track starts to cool, we're going to see it probably drift more to the inside. You can see them more or less only really using 1 or 2 grooves.
And they're going to start fighting for that inside lane, especially on restarts. We've seen that already. Richard Hines in the 87 has not had a crazy day, but he's gone from 28th to 19th, so it is a climb forward. Also, Jess Story, the number 7, who had a bad day at Daytona. At the start of this race, had a hardware failure fitting, so he is not going to be able to complete this race tonight. Chad Frainfield still stays a lap down. He's the only car not on the lead lap at the moment. For 15th, that is Eisenman and Dustin Dewar. And up the road, how about a 4-car fight for 5th?
More or less 5-car fight as Kuzma has a look up the inside of Campbell. They almost wreck each other going down into turn 1.
And that was pretty close. The 94 tried to stick the nose in, and Campbell saw it coming, so he backed out and got up the racetrack high enough for the 94 to not run into him.
Still not done. 3 wide for these cars as they go down the back straightaway. Campbell trying to get a run on the 13. They see Larry Zielinski up ahead trying to get to James Miller in the 09.
31 on the inside, no air anywhere on that race car, kind of trapped in a box between the 13 and the 97. He might be able to clear Gable here if he can get a slipstream from the 97. Behind him, Klusterhuis and Kolb inches apart as they rocket down the front straight at 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get runs up on one another. Kolb had to run manure to go with it.
And as the tires continue to fall off, some drivers are almost a second off of the pace. Justin Gable was 1.2 seconds off his pace, his best tonight. So the tires are falling off, and now the drivers that have been abusing their stuff are going to get outed here for drivers that have been taking care of their tires and their equipment.
Speaking of which, it looks like Sharp's finally starting to fall off of the 51 of Indelicado. More or less where he expected it. He's still looking at this battle here between the 94 and the 13, still heating up. It looks like
caution!
Get the run. As the caution's out, it's going to be for McEvoy.
And Eisenman. Looks like just a spin. Third caution of the night at lap number 35, and all the drivers are breathing a sigh of relief because they can come get tires. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here.
Ooh.
The
Wow, what a save.
That was a great save, but who was that turned him around? Was it?
That should be the 21.
Ah, Jordan McEvoy. Wow, who came soaring through there at like Mach 3? Was that Dustin Dewar?
I think Fisher.
I think it was Dewar.
Oh, no, it was Dewar, sorry.
He throttled up and just went for it.
Oh, he hit the wall, though.
Yeah, he did. I will say that the 77 did a great job hanging on to that.
Yeah, great job, man.
It was far enough to trigger the yellow flag, so we'll be under a caution for the third time tonight, and this is just such slight contact. All of our incidents so far have been from this the lead car getting up underneath and lifting the rear tires up off the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I think a lot of these guys are so used to having the bumpers pretty much squared off more or less with the newer cars that you can kind of bump and do whatever you want.
So,
these cars pick up the guys from the rear end.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So the reason why this happens, Finn, is because in the past, the old damage model had very simplistic hitboxes. And what a hitbox is it defines where the car can have contact. So the new damage model made these hitboxes a lot more realistic to the actual body shape of the car, which means that you can have drivers get up underneath the bumper of the driver in front of them, much like you would have seen in the real world with these cars, where they'd get up underneath the bumper and pick the rear tires up off the ground right here. You're going to see the rear suspension kind of lift for a moment, and that's all it takes to spin this car out. iRacing has done such a spectacular job with this, that this is the kind of thing that would happen, and I'm so glad to see it actually. I mean, I don't like seeing crashes, but I do like seeing more realistic collisions, and this is one of those things that drivers are not used to because they've had those dumbed down collision models for so many years.
And now he's been able to save that thing. Just going to have to get 4 more good years. The pit stop cycle's complete here.
For Mr. Feelgoods?
Yep. And it looks like everyone's pretty much cycled out more or less where they should be. Kevin Finn looks like he's lost a few spots. Going to drop from 3rd back to 5th. Other than that, I don't really see any other major changes in the order.
Other than the leader, Tanner Sharp will lead pit lane as the top spot. So, what was the difference? 43.4 seconds on pit road to 44.1.
I think it's because the Sharp should have had the second pit stall on pit roads. I think by the time he was still getting up to speed, he was able to beat the 51 to the line.
Well, take a look at this. Tanner Sharp's pit stop graphic. How about look at the pit stop time? 14.27, 14.27. But Tanner Sharp's stop, or his entire pit road sequence, was about a half second, almost a full second quicker.
Yeah, I think it's the bit at the end that I think that really, again, with him just still accelerating back to the line, I think he was just able to beat the 51 out. Those pit stalls definitely matter, especially the first few ones.
So 36 laps complete here in Fontana, California for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. And, of course, the grandstand's empty, as they will be this weekend going forth up until about May for the NASCAR Cup Series and other series. Because
it'll be more than grandstands empty. The track will be empty.
The track will be entirely empty because there won't be any racing going on.
Yeah,
because of the COVID-19 virus, and as a little bit of a quip towards it, we're not running the crowds tonight. Also to help my frame rate. It's nice. But no, we joke about it, but I'm glad that it's being taken seriously. I was just hoping that everything would be taken seriously, except we could still race.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be, especially because for Formula One, they're still planning on going ahead with the Bahrain Grand Prix with just race personnel only, which I was kind of hoping that that's how most of the racing events would go. Just no spectators, just because you can at least watch it, right?
Right.
And that's how I normally watch almost everything. So yeah, it's unfortunate that it got canceled, but safety first in the eyes of things. And at least for the most part, I think almost all the events are getting pushed off into the later half of the year. So later half of the year for every single form of motorsports is going to be fantastic because they're just going to be going week after week after week.
It'll just be racing overload. Well, the good news for everybody else sitting at home is that you don't have to stop watching racing. You just have to stop watching real racing.
Yeah.
And I joke about real racing, but SimTV's one-liner is is it's virtual racing but real entertainment, and you can find entertainment here almost 7 days a week this spring. We've got road racing, we've got oval racing, multi-class racing, everything you can imagine we have here on this network. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already to join us as we fill the void in your racing heart as everything is canceled this spring and early summer.
Yep, and I can't say a whole lot, but there's something we have planned.
Yeah, if it all pulls through.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything more than that. But
there's a really exciting thing that may or may not at all happen. But if it happens, it'll be pretty enormous. So we're very excited.
That's about all we can say.
That's about all we can say. Unfortunately. Besides that, again, so let's run through what we've got. On Mondays, we've got ERSCA, PristineAuction.com series, which is on right now with Corey Silva and the guys from PTR TV taking over for us on SimTV. That's live, alternatively, from this race.
At Atlanta.
Tonight, we've got 3-Wide Racing League Grand National action. On Tuesdays, it's the Fuel Premier Series. This week, tomorrow night, we'll be running at the Indianapolis Roval. And then the week following, we will be at Pocono. Wednesdays, we are off this week, but next week, we'll be running the Redenzo Sports Car Challenge, a GT4 and TCR multi-class series, which will have some of the highest production value you've ever seen in any sim racing broadcast, whether it be professional or whether it be amateur. We're very excited about that. Thursday is the Scars Ferrari Challenge. And then Friday, we're off. Saturday, Outsider Racing League action continues from Darlington this weekend. And Sunday, we've got Indy Elite, and eventually we'll have 3-Wide Racing League action as well. Pace cars off again. Restart for the 4th time tonight. It's the 3 of Tanner Sharp and the bright green Mountain Dew Chevrolet out in front. Green flag back in the air, lap number 39. Oh, look at this. 3 wide, almost 4 wide for a moment down into the first corner. Up at the front, though, here comes Matt Grunberg in the number 54 trying to throttle up and go for the lead here in Fontana.
These guys getting really close to the wall. Some of them in the wall. That's the 14 of Kevin Finn. And he's going to lose a lot of time down the straightaway.
The field scatters as the 14 is slow off into turn 3. Everyone pouncing on him. And the 14 is going to very quickly drop down the order. And they smell blood in the water with that 14 out of line, and they have taken advantage of him, and they have driven out in front of him. And Finn falls to 12th place. Sharp leads this lap.
Yeah, there's now going to be essentially a battle between Sharp and Grunberg up for the lead. You know, a mess in the midfield as everyone scrambles for spots. There's Kevin Finn dropping back to 12th after running in the top 5 for most of the last 30 laps.
And these restarts are extremely tense. You got fresh tires. You have to take advantage of them. The 28 right on the rear bumper of the number 5. We've seen that go wrong so many times tonight. Got to be careful.
Yeah, we see now Josh Clark finally is able to kind of move himself forward. He was kind of stuck dropping back for quite a bit. Now he's got fresh tires as well as everyone else. Kind of advance his position here.
Great battles all over the racetrack. Up in front, it's Levi Zielinski. On the way outside, it's Gerald Campbell on the inside. This is a battle for 4th place.
Campbell with the run. Looks like he's barely going to get clear of Zielinski potentially by the time they get to turn 1.
Eisenman recovering from his spin. He's up in 15th place and using the outside lane now on fresh tires. This seems to work okay, but as the tires wear, it seems like the bottom's the place to be. He's squeezing the 87 of Richard Hines to the inside.
I almost didn't realize that there was a car to his inside. He went so far. You see him getting clear of Richard Hines, but keeping himself in 15th.
Here comes the 28 of Josh Clark. 3 wide off into turn 3 again. The 5 on the outside, the 06 in the middle.
Boy.
Big slide for the 28.
Able to catch before they made some contact, still close together, especially the 06 and the 28.
Down the front straightaway again. Up at the front, it's still Tanner Sharp leading the race. And fourth spot, Gerald Campbell. Levi Zielinski back into 5th after his slide down the order before. And we continue to have a 4-5 car fight for about 11th, 12th place.
Clark is trying to clear, and he's going to just slide up in front of Jeffrey Fisher and clear for 12th place.
Matt Grunberg is closing for the lead off into the 3rd corner. Here he comes to the top spot. The champion from last season and pretty much everything wants to get his points tonight.
We'll see how much of a fight Tanner Sharp is going to put up, especially since the 3 was just able to get the lead from the 51.
And Sharp is going defensive on the front straightaway, wants to keep that inside lane for turn 1 and 2. And in 2 laps, we'll be at halfway here tonight.
Just a gap kind of forming to everyone else. James Miller trying to catch up to the leading 2 cars.
31 of Gerald Campbell on the outside. That's the 22 of Race Clark on the inside, the highest he's been running tonight. After starting in 9th, he's up to P6. And disappearing for a moment.
That was close. He's going to be back on the track.
Oh, Nick and Delicato, 3 wide of middle. And he dropped way down the order. Didn't see why he dropped down.
I think he had a speeding penalty.
7th to 16th. And trying to claw his way back forward after being up at the front for a bunch of laps earlier.
We saw him go almost 3 wide on the restart here towards the back of the pack. He's that car that almost nailed the pit and get it going down the front straight away.
Oh, look at this fight. Look at Chad Frankfield. He's got that car almost entirely repaired as well. So he's back in this race and trying to move back. Oh, no, trouble! The 89 spins down in turn 1. Caution is out again. And Miller slams the barrier. And big damage to the 89.
Oh, in the...
Well, almost.
Fixed itself.
And at the halfway point, we have our 4th caution of the night. And Brent Miller. Crash in turn 1. Frank Sims. He might have been involved, but perhaps
I think he got out of it. It was Goodman and Richard Hines that were also in the thick of it.
And this is going to be difficult to watch because Miller was blinking. Oh, he got clobbered by the 87. Oh, the 44, Michael Goodman, also got into it. Wow. This is a nasty accident. The end of the straightaway in Fontana is a really bad place to have things go wrong. Wow. 44 got turned in, certainly broke something in the suspension there. And sparks flying from the 89. Pinecone Cabin, Pontiac Grand Prix in turn number 1. And the 87 just drove off in there. And
he went straight. I'm not sure if he went in too hot and then got into the brakes and the car wouldn't turn. That kind of seems to be the case, but...
Yeah, that was
into the corner really hot.
That was a really, really nasty accident. We'll ride on board here with Richard Hines as they head off into the corner. Just got in too hot. Oh. Right from inside the car. I think he might have expected the 89 to run in there a little bit higher, and it just didn't happen, and they just had to come in together. That is certainly a lot of damage for the 44 and for the 89.
Yeah, they're going to definitely have to get some lengthy repairs down on pit road. And you can see Chad Frankfield, we were just talking about him before that caution came out. Was able to take advantage of getting the wave around last caution, so they're now finally back on the lead lap with everyone else and got that car pretty fixed up.
The one thing they haven't been able to fix is the roof.
Yeah.
James Miller stays out on the racetrack. What do you think of that call?
I don't know. I would have come in. I think they were out there for a decent amount of laps. Yeah, they're out there for a decent amount of laps. I would have come in. Got some tires. He might just be out there to lead a lap. We could see him come back in, but he's going to be way at the back of the pack. There's still a lot of cars running. In fact, every single car that started the race is still running.
With the exception of Jess Story, who did start the race but had a failure on lap number 1. So the only driver. So everyone else is still out. Dustin Dewar in the 32 is also on pit lane for kind of an extended period of time. I'm not exactly sure what that's all about. Didn't see this car get directly involved, but he does have some fairly significant... Oh, this was probably from his wall contact earlier on the previous caution. And still awaiting his release. 89 of Miller, also been on pit lane for quite some time, as has Michael Goodman. So we've had 4 cautions tonight. And a significant portion of them have come in turn 1. It seems to be the tricky spot. You're coming up down into a corner at well over 180 miles an hour, Finian, and you run off in there. And it narrows down a little bit, and everyone wants to choose different lines, and that's where the trouble is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you have such a wide track, especially because you can go 5 wide here easily, the fact that it widens down, or narrows down, I should say, down in essentially 1 or 2 lanes, it leads to just a lot of accidents happen with that kind of funnel effect, and we pretty much saw it there with Richard Hines making contact with Brent Miller in the 89. All of the cars are able to get back out there, so they're not going to go a lap down. So they can continue on.
So this race is past halfway complete at this point. Do we have any favorites so far, Finian? Is it too early in this race to really make a call on who's got the potential to win this thing?
I mean, I would say de facto favorite is probably going to be, where is he? For Matt Grunberg. Man has got a lot of speed and a lot of talent. I would say another really strong car so far is obviously the 3 of Tanner Sharp has been looking pretty strong. However, it's going to be starting up in 4th. Actually, so Sharp only came out in 4th, so that means Zielinski and Clark took Race Clark took 2 tires.
Yep, Race Clark took 2. Nice guess, and so did Levi Zielinski.
I was looking there, I thought that said tires, and I thought it said
3 tires.
I was like, how on earth did they manage to get 3
You used to be able to change 3 tires.
Yeah, that was dumb. I'm glad they changed
that.
I'm
glad you could change 1 tire if you wanted to. Can you imagine just changing right fronts?
I'm glad, especially, too, with the Indy car, they just made it 1 box, because obviously you're not...
Right.
It was annoying, because you had to click every single box.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's... I know some series you can change. I mean, I think in Michelin Pilot Challenge you're allowed to change 1. It's really rare that you see that happen, though.
Yeah, it really is, because you're always going to take, like, you're either going to take all fronts, all rears, all lefts, all rights, or all tires. Yeah, it's kind of weird to just take 1. But
right, because it throws the car off balance, you know. You're building pressure differently in 1 tire versus the other. It's just not something you see a lot. We're also having a discussion about driving pace cars in Sims. I thought, okay, at the very least, they need to, A, replace this pace car with something that's not a relic from 2005, B, make it paintable, and C, make it drivable and turn the lights on and off. That would be so much fun. It'd be like a little mini game. The league administrator could do it. And also, we talk about the Formula 1 pace cars, how they drive around the track like a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
You ever watch the Mercedes AMG that they use? It hauls. It's so fun to watch.
And the F1 car is just daily going through the corner, not even half throttle.
iRacing, there are so many things that they could do for extra playability, like making drivable pace cars. That would just be, I mean, I would love to do that. That would be the most fun thing. I would enjoy doing that more than actually racing. I don't know why, but I've always had that. There's always a part of me that wants to participate in some kind of administrative effort beyond just tallying points. Heck, give us safety trucks. Make it a whole thing. We'll drive the safety truck out there, hook people up on the hook. Hey, I'm all for it. I know there's people who this is dumb, but I think it'd be so much fun.
Yeah, it's nice for the option. I think for video games in general, just give options. Just give the options.
Why don't you let us drive into the garage? Landmark Park. I was at Landmark earlier. Nice big opening, says paddock. I tried to turn in. Boom, invisible wall. I was like, dang it, dude, I thought I had that. All right, here we go. Restart again with 40 laps to go. Miller and Zielinski in command at Fontana. Green flag in the air again, and a little bit of contact as the drivers get back into speed trouble.
No.
Big crash in the midfield. Cars telescoping up on top of each other, and the caution is right back out.
Wow, that was a massive idle. That was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
That was Busch Clash level accident right there.
I saw 1 car go around. I'm like, all right, it's going to be 1 car. I was actually worried the 28 of Josh Clark was going to go around, but a whole bunch of guys started just spinning their tires, and I saw 7, 8 cars go around.
Yeah, that was certainly an interesting situation. It really starts up in front.
Yeah, it was a massive
chain
chain
the 15
reaction.
of Frankenfield rear ends the 77. Wow, the 2 car took a heck of a ride.
Yeah, up and over into the fence.
How about, let's take a look at the 2 as he got driven up onto. The 15 of the 77 start, and it kind of triggers everybody else. Look at the 2 up and over the top of the 75 of Frank Sims. That's a good portion of the field as they all bounce and slam off of each other. Let's right on board here with the 75.
Yeah, I guess the bright side for this is that a lot of it was low-speed collisions.
Whoa!
Except that one. That was actually pretty hard.
Yeah, and this is you don't want to be leaving gaps that are quite this large trying to game the restarts here. It's kind of what leads to this kind of thing. Wow. Sam closes in it.
Up to them.
The 84 almost escaped it. That was Hackathorn.
Yeah, just nose this car in a little bit, so he should be fine.
So let's go back again and see where this all starts, because it's up towards the front.
Yeah, it was definitely up here. It wasn't even the leaders that really did anything. The guys in the back, they were closing in out of turn 4, and I think a lot of guys mistook that as the restart.
The first car I'm seeing is the 28 of Josh Clark, and the Nick Indelicado's also leaving too big of a gap, as is Justin Kolb, and they think
Klusser is too. He closed in quite a bit.
Yeah, and they all think that they can game this restart fitting, but there's just not enough.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And we've seen this happen in IndyCar at ovals before too, and the 15 just absolutely pile drove the 77. And kind of gave himself all that damage that he had just gotten done fixing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a little bit harder than this. Typically the rules, you always look, 3, 4, 5 cars ahead of you. It's kind of harder in these cars because,
can't see a lot.
Yeah, you can't see a lot, but you always want to be particularly careful in these restarts in case something like this happens. Easier for us to see because you're looking off of the nose of these cars, but if you go down to the roll bar or in the car, it's a lot harder to see.
And Brett Miller did a good job. At the very least, didn't fly in there. But he's down in pit lane getting repairs from his previous crash. So, our 5th caution right at the restart. Cautions breed cautions, Finian. James Miller's strategy is looking pretty good. We've seen this thing work out before where you stay out, you expect a bunch of yellows, and you get them, and you lead a bunch of laps.
The only thing is at some point he's going to have to come down and get some tires.
And fuel at that point. He can't make it to the end from here.
He's going to definitely have to find some way to get down the pit road here. So coming down here, what we got?
38 laps to go.
Yeah. So
we'll take a break just for a minute, just to rest our voices for a moment. We'll be back in just a minute with a restart here from Fontana, California. Stay with us.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
.52 laps complete of 88 here tonight for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. This is round number 2 in 2020. You're watching Sim TV. And so far, we've had 5 yellow flags, the most recent of which was about an 8-car pileup on the restart, as everyone tried to game it to get a run down into turn 1 fin in, and it never really works out.
No, it really never does. Especially, you see time and time again in the IndyCar series, with everyone, able to close up quite a bit. Not so much in stock cars, but obviously it occasionally happens, and especially in a time like this, you see a lot of cars involved. Most of the guys should be fine. I think really the guy who got the worst end of that was the 2, Carlos Acosta. You can see he's still down on pit road trying to fix that thing up.
Yeah, it looks okay. I know the 15 also had some pretty heavy frontal contact with the 77, but his car's also mostly repaired. Nick Delicato was involved. Looks like he's got his car pretty much patched up as well, so we shouldn't have a lot of casualties from that. We have had another retirement. Dustin Dewar in the 32 has pulled off and called it a day. Everyone else is on the lead lap and still in the running tonight.
Yeah, just seeing how this race is going to work again. Especially, I was surprised to see the leaders kind of door each other.
Yeah, Miller and Sharp were really aggressive. Or actually, it wasn't the Sharp, it was Zielinski.
Actually, Zielinski's, I think he came to the pits. I'm not sure what the score was for the 97, but all the way in the back. Now in 23rd.
Fixing damage, because he was there for quite a while. So we'll come back to the restart at lap number 54. Will leave us about 35 laps to go. And we'll try to do this again. The leader has been taking the outside lane every restart tonight. I'm a little surprised by that. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised with that as well. I think they figure, you know, you can get a decent run off the corner, off of 2. I think that's what they might be trying to eye out for. Or potentially, I think they're just figuring out if you can get a good jump on the second place driver, in this case, Tanner Sharp. Should be able to clear them anyway by the time you get to turn 1, and you have a better line going through turn 1 as well.
Gerald Campbell was your winner from Daytona, so he's got a win under his belt, and a top 5 tonight would certainly solidify his place atop the standings.
I imagine he's probably going to try to be making that win number 2 here. He's got a few guys to fight back up to it, but has been running really solidly inside the top 10, and we're currently right now inside the top 5.
Yeah, Race Clark is going to be 3rd on this restart. He's got a great position to be in on the inside of that second row, so he'll have a shot at this down into turn number 1. We'll see if they've learned from their previous blunders here on the restart. Sun is back out at California. Fontana Auto Club, whatever you want to call it. Track temp has fallen slightly. Mostly cloudy skies today, but it'll be our 6th time taking a green flag tonight. Lap number 54.
Oh, Zelensky in the background going to hit the wall hard on the straightaway. No caution as he's all the way in the back.
Yeah, and that's not what we wanted to see. And we'll maybe go back and take another look at that at the next restart, but that's big time issue for the 97. Meanwhile, for second, Grunberg and Sharp running each other up the racetrack at the exit of turn 2, but Levi Zielinski's night competitively is in jeopardy now.
He's able to get the car back up to speed, but I imagine he might have some required damage. He hit the wall pretty hard as you see Grunberg and Sharp side by side into turn 3.
James Miller continues to hang on to the top spot. Tanner Sharp trying to close, but he's got to deal with the 54 Grunberg. Here comes Race Clark in that white Ford Taurus up on the inside lane. Everyone on the apron behind him, all sorts of sideways as they rocket off into turn 1 at 185 miles an hour. Everyone using every inch of racetrack they can. Corey Lindsay way up the racetrack after he crashed on lap 1 from pole.
Yeah, he's been able to fix that car up pretty well. I mean, you can't even tell the car was involved in anything. And now trying to move himself back up. You see him getting past like Kevin Finn and Chad Frankenfield and even the 77 of Drew Eisenman.
Yeah, he washed up the racetrack big time for the lead into turn 3. Here comes the 3, rubbing doors into the corner. Side by side at Fontana, California. Sharp and Miller battling for the top spot. Here comes Grunberg with a big run out of turn 4.
As amazing actually didn't make contact. If anything, was very minimum. And you see the 3 race down to try to block off the 09. Both of them on the apron.
The block off into turn 1. This has gone wrong so many times tonight. Sharp takes it. Miller has to back off for now.
He's racing close quarters here. He's going to have to back off just a little bit. Maybe try to get a better exit than Sharp. But you see Grunberg also waiting in the wings in 3rd.
Gerald Campbell back to 5th place. And down the back straight, more cars fighting for position. That's Jeffrey Fisher in the 06 on the outside. Here comes Hackathorn in the 84. He got turned nose first into the outside wall and got that car repaired. And here he is inside the top 10 after the restart.
Working out the inside now, there's Jeffrey Fisher on the outside in the 06. There's also the 28 of Joshua Clark, too. And the 51 of Nick Indelicato has not been anywhere close to the lead since he dropped back down after a potential speeding penalty. And not been able to recover.
He's led a quarter of this race tonight, all at the beginning, so we know he's fast. He just needs the track position to get back up there. For second place, Miller and Grunberg now fighting. And we've started to single file off a little bit. The 15 of Frankenfield continues his climb forward. Sam Close and the 51 of Indelicato side by side, as well as the 28 of Josh Clark off into 3.
Fisher trying to make the move, trying to get clear of the 84 of Hackathorn, but Hackathorn not giving this spot up on the inside.
On the front straightaway, needs a little bit of help. Here comes the 5 to the inside, and Delicato's going to slam the door.
That's the defending from these guys. Trying to maintain every spot that they can, especially for the 51 who's trying to move himself up the order. I think he's definitely going to need another caution if he can get clear of a few cars to really give him another chance at the lead.
He's going to need more than a caution. He's going to need a clever strategy to get himself back in position as well. The 97 of Levi Zielinski has pulled it off the racetrack, likely done for the night. Unfortunate after his restart collision. This is a great battle from Hackathorn on back for 9th.
Fisher just not able to get that car moving forward. Here comes the 28 up the inside, 3 wide.
Oh, we're going to try 4. Here we go. The 51 slams the door on the 5 car again.
Easy,
here we
boys.
go again. That's not going to work. 3 wide, tight. 14 at the middle, contact. There
we
goes
go.
the 06. He gets turned. Can he save it?
Wow.
Big slide, and he does. That was a spectacular save.
Oh.
No, not there he goes. He's out of control and slides out the course. And the 77 gets clobbered in a horrible collision at the exit of turn 2. And it's all over for Eisenman. Wow.
And you see also, too, that's Frank Sims in the 75 trying to limp that car back. You see the tire's stuck.
Oh, man. That was a nasty wreck. That car looking a little worse for wear. Well, let's go back, and he almost had it saved, Jeffrey Fisher. And at the last moment, it snapped off into turn 1. And we knew this wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
He gets off into the corner, and he's just going to get the 5 and 14 to get together. He gets squeezed and gets turned, and he saves it and almost has it caught.
I think he got back on the gas while the car was still kind of loose.
Now Eisenman. Oh, man. The 2 car of Carlos Acosta also involved. It's a vicious accident right here. Watch this. The 2 car up on top of I think that was the 44 Michael Goodman.
Yeah, it was Goodman. Both of them going flying into the outside wall.
Wow. Again. And Carlos Acosta unable to slow in time. He's going to actually get rear-ended from the 44 as well. Right on board with Michael Goodman. See what he saw from inside the car. This is going to hurt.
So I think you saw the underside of the 2.
Oh, man. And the 75 had another incident behind. He was well back from the initial crash. And
made it through there. Oh!
Clobber Jeffrey Fisher. And actually, let's ride on board with the 06.
Yeah, you hear him get on the gas, and as soon as he did, he got the car loose again.
And right here.
Oh, right in the nose.
Here's that last collision one more time. Almost got away with it. And actually, Fisher had almost no damage until right here.
Oh.
Destroyed the 75. That'll likely be race-ending damage for him. Well, the crashes lately have been quite spectacular here in Fontana. And just over 20 laps to go. Our 6th caution of the night. Jeffrey Fisher gets back rolling somehow. 75 has retired for the night. Carlos Acosta's race is probably also over. That car is torn up from A end to B end. Michael Goodman also repairing some damage on the Pinecone cabin Pontiac.
And out of all that, Bryce Clark is our leader in the 22.
And this will be actually his first lap led. I think we've had some drivers hit pit lane. One of them being the 09 of James Miller, I believe. Let's go back and looks like he has just come to pit lane just now.
Yeah, back actually take a look here to see what people were doing.
Everybody came to pit lane. It's just some drivers took 2. Those 3 drivers being Race Clark, Gerald Campbell, and Chad Frankenfield up into 4th place now.
Yeah, everyone else took 4 tires, and I think that's a decent goal taking too. The amount of laps he run to get, especially for Frankenfield too, I think it gave him quite a bit of track position. We'll see what he can do with that.
It was so close to not having that accident, and Fisher did a great job with the initial save, and I think what happened is he got that car set back straight, and the problem is they don't want to be going straight at that point, and it just snapped back around on him.
Yeah, gave it a little bit of gas because he thought he was all good, and unfortunately the car wasn't completely settled just yet, and that was enough to knock him back loose and wasn't able to save it the second time.
Yeah, I think they're learning very quickly that this new damage model is a bigger change than I think they were expecting. It's not just visually, it's the entire collision system has been rebuilt from the ground up. Not only with the race cars, but all the race tracks have also been changed in the way that their mesh is constructed, the way that the cars interact with the physical surface has also changed on this most recent build. And for at least the 7 cars that are now enabled with it. The Skip Barber Formula 2000, the Dallara F3, the Aston Martin DB9 GT1, the Corvette C6R GT1, the K&N Impala, which we're driving tonight, the Porsche Cayman 718 GT4, and the Audi RS3 TCR, all enabled with the new damaged model. Hopefully more coming. I really want the Cup cars to get them pretty soon, as well as the car that needs the most out of any car this entire service is the Indy car.
Yeah, I think it's going to look spectacular in crashes.
Well,
especially too because its physics are not completely sorted out, is I guess the best way of putting it.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is, however the tires work right now, when the tires hit the ground, they act like a basketball, and it just flings the car in every direction, and it just... The reason why you don't see that quite so much with the stock cars is because usually their tires aren't the thing impacting the ground, it's the body.
Yeah.
But when the tires hit the ground, it's like a pogo stick, and it's what shoots the Dallara everywhere. So I'm really hoping that the Indy car gets some attention very quickly, because I think I could live without the other cars with it, but the Indy car needs it badly.
I also can't wait to see like the Indy car when they get into each other's wheels and just launching off into the corner.
I do wish that because obviously the damage is done client side, so. You know, obviously you've seen the cars kind of repairing themselves. I wish they would kind of sync that up a little bit better. I've heard that the damage is given the lowest priority in terms of syncing, which makes sense because it is a very low priority. It's just a visual thing mostly for everybody else but you. But it looks a little bit wonky with things clipping through so much. You know, and it's the internet. I get it.
And then also then the car just magically repairs itself
Yeah.
after a few seconds.
Right. It's hard to tell the severity of the damage.
Yeah, you gotta wait a few seconds.
Right. But it still looks spectacular, and it's still when you're using on your end and you're not in an online session, it's absolutely amazing. Time for the restart, lap number 64 of 88. It'll be 25 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Race Clark on the bottom in the number 22, and Gerald Campbell in the Campbell car up on the outside lane.
Yeah, fantastic restart for Race Clark. A few guys moving in behind him. There's a 13 Dustin Dewar looking up the inside of the 3 Tanner Sharp. Gonna sit back in behind him.
And Frainfield trying to roll that outside lane on the restart. We'll see if it pays off. He's way up there, though. Woo, that was close.
Number 2 tires for the 15, so doesn't have new inside tires. And here comes the 3 of Tanner Sharp trying to get a run on Joe Campbell for the
Campbell's
lead.
going to go to the lead in turn 3. What a move.
Race Car going to be stuck on that outside lane. He's way out of the groove here. He's going to allow the 3. Look at the 3.
Oh, big run for the 3 of Tanner Sharp. Is he going to sit on it? He'll have to. Woo. Swings to driver's right.
So when Frankie will hit the wall in the background, still hitting the wall down the straightaway as he got a battle up for the lead between Campbell and Tanner Sharp.
And he's trying to keep it out of the way of everybody else, and looks like he will do just that. No. Oh, yeah, he's slowed way down, so he's kept it out of the fence. Or got it in the fence, but kept it in the fence.
Tanner Sharp getting a nice run off the corner here.
He's going to get squeezed. Crossover.
See that car a lot more nimble, and he's still got the run to use to his advantage as well.
Off into turn 3, 180 miles an hour. Sharp on the inside, Campbell on the outside, and hunting for that white line.
Great run out of the corner. Looks like he should be able to take and hold the lead here from the 31, but Campbell not done just yet.
He's going to side draft again. Race Clark licking his lips. He sees these 2 cars fighting. He might have another look off into turn 1.
There's a chance of getting 1 spot, maybe even 2. You see there Justin Gable right in behind. And Sharp going to clear the 31 into turn 1.
Great move for the top spot. Sharp back to the point in California. Behind them, Clark under attack from Gable. And Matt Grunberg back to 5th place.
Grunberg's not out of this just yet. Very well within the hunt for the win. And has been so ever since really, opening field around the end of the first green flag run we had. Moved himself up here and has been a competitor.
Look at them all chasing each other down the front straightaway. Nick Delicado back up to 7th place. He was kind of stranded down the order, but now when the time is coming, he has begun to find his way back to the front here, Finney. I'm liking this 51.
Yeah, and all the way here in this lead pack. He's got to worry about James Miller, though, in the 09 right behind him. Up in front, there's a 13 and the 22 going side by side for 3rd.
Drag race down the bumpy back straightaway here in Fontana, California, closing in on 20 laps to go. Clark in 3rd, Gable in 4th. The Gable car is the black and white number 13. Here comes Grunberg. Hole is open, door is open, and Grunberg's going to try to sneak in there before they lock the door.
Yeah, he can get a run at least to the inside of Race Clark. Now he and the 22 side by side as Gable's able to clear. Grunberg trying to bully Race Clark out of the spot.
He'll do it, and Kluserhuis is also going to try to follow through, so Clark quickly going down the order, and now it's going to be a run on the outside. It's going to have it. Where will he go with it, though? Here he comes. Going to try to squeeze up the outside. Gruberg slams the door.
He can't go anywhere because he's got the 94 to his inside, so he's kind of stuck in there in a box.
Kluserhuis takes advantage. Oh, big dive for Indelicato. Threw it off into turn 3, and here comes Miller. Clears him.
Had to back off into there. Almost got the 22. He went in there so hard.
He sent that. He just chucked it in there and hoped for the best.
He's going to lose potentially another spot due to the 28 of Joshua Clark. Battle for 8th place between them.
20 laps to go here in Fontana for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. We've had our fair share of spectacular racing and spectacular crashes tonight. Klusterhuis up to 5th.
Race Clark trying to get a run down the back straightaway in that Ford Taurus. Gonna have a little bit of a look. Klusterhuis is going to defend from him though and keep that 22 in line.
So drivers that were damaged earlier in the night still hunkered back in 15th, and you have to feel for Corey Lindsay with such a strong qualifying run. Lap 1 crashed out, and he's been stranded down the order all night long.
And not only to his teammate too that took him out as well, so that's going to hurt just a little bit more.
He hadn't even led a lap yet.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a frustrating day. How about this? Klusterhuis got a stack of race cars behind him. Here comes Miller and Clark with a run.
And Miller almost got into the back of the 22, and we've seen how bad that's turned out for a lot of drivers tonight.
Getting up underneath the driver in front of them. Brent Miller slow off into 3. He's going to back out of a situation he potentially thought was hazardous. Down to the front straightaway again. Here's Clark. Ooh, and Indelicato getting a push from Jordan McKeeboy. I don't like that.
I wouldn't really say it's a push. Indelicato blocking McKeeboy and McKeeboy giving him a shove.
Right on board here with McKeeboy as he was pushing the 51. Big wiggle.
Yeah, that was I don't like what you did down the straight. And here you see, this is why 21 was a little bit upset.
Kept his foot in it, made him a little nervous. That's at 175 miles an hour playing games. And meanwhile, how about some 3-wide games into turn 3, and Miller takes both spots.
Not going to hold on it for it long. Here comes Race Car with a great run out at turn 4 up the inside. Going to have another look on Miller.
Oh, block again by the 51. No, he's getting brave now, Finney, and that was one too many, I think.
I think the 21's ready to turn him.
Contact in front of them. The 09 and the 22 door slammed each other off into turn 1.
Oh, the 21, he's looking really racy. I feel like he doesn't care if the 21 gets turned around at this point.
Well, I mean, again, blocking is a self-policing situation. You do it one too many times and your competitors will let you know by keeping their foot in the throttle and sending you for a wild ride. This is one of the few oval tracks that has a wall separating the pit lane from the racing surface, and that wall will come up very quickly at the end of the front straightaway. If you get turned at the end of the front straight, you're going to hit something hard.
Yeah, when these guys battling for 5th place so hard, it's allowed the top 4, Sharp, Campbell, Gable, and Grunberg to break away. As you see, this massive pack still trying to sort themselves out.
Across the start-finish line, 16 laps to go. And Indelicato has a little bit of breathing room off the nose of the 21. He's going to need it. Miller with a good middle of the corner run, and will gather his own breathing room. Whoa, big slide up the course for the 22 and the 94.
Yeah, going to clear the 94. Klusterhuis, so here comes Klusterhuis trying to have a run up the inside. Indelicato looking to the outside.
It's like we're plate racing. Here comes the 94 up the inside of the 22. Almost contact there. Now McKeeboy and the 51 side by side. We'll see if these positions trade here.
Yeah, Dooney almost gave a shove to the 51 of Indelicato. That almost hooked him around.
And now they're really playing games with each other, Vinny. And onto the apron. Shortest radius they can find.
You're getting a lot of room into the corner. He's going to have to back out quite a bit here.
Indelicato with a run up the middle. He's in the throttle.
21 with that shallow entry gave up a lot of exit speed.
Meanwhile, for second place up the road, Battle, and Gable tucks back in line.
Going back to the battle between the 21 and the 51. Someone's going to go around at some point. Here comes the 51. Big dive up the inside.
That might have been a little bit brave, but he's there. That was a great move to get position alongside the 21. And a lot of brake.
So here comes the 28 of Clark, going to force his way down to the inside.
3 wide again. Oh, we've seen this pan out the wrong way before.
20 being very aggressive, and
He's going to have the spot almost. Wow, that's inches away from getting hooked into the fence at 150 plus miles an hour.
almost cleared him there, but not quite. He's going to be ahead of him by a nose. Here comes 51 back around that outside.
Which lane do you go with? Outside or inside? Looks like he'll choose the bottom.
Oh, he's going to choose the very bottom, have a look up the inside of the 28 as well, as Clark gets clear of both these guys.
And Indelicato says, nope, I want some more back. He's going to try to squeeze up to the wall on corner exit. Almost have it coming together here.
We're trying to use that run off the corner with the 28 taking the shorter way around on the front straightaway.
Another group kind of rejoining them behind Finn and Velez. And they continue their fight.
Yeah, you see Clark trying to bully Indelicato out of the line. He's going to just now be able to slide up in front of 51 to clear.
While all this has gone on, Gable has taken second, Campbell and Grunberg for third. Whoa, big send by the 54 into turn 3. Going to try to squeeze up the inside. Can't do it. Campbell's going to try to cross over. No space.
Wow, and Campbell just almost turned the 54 of Grunberg there. The run he was
Oh, the
carrying.
13 almost got in the wall out of turn 4.
I think he did get a piece of the wall. That killed some of his speed down the straightaway. Now here comes Campbell to run up the inside of Grunberg, and both of them catching Gable.
12 laps to go in Fontana. Off into turn 1. The 31 taking a slightly middle groove off into the entry. I thought they were going to tangle. And behind him, Indelicato and the 28 of Joshua Clark fighting for 7th spot.
Back out single file again, so Grunberg going to hold on to that third spot. Meanwhile, the 20 and the 51 going back at it yet again.
Oh, no, there goes the 5. Big slide in turn 4. Can he save it? He does.
Wow, great save and great job by everyone there to avoid an accident.
That was almost disastrous. Here's a look from on board the 21. Another look. They drive off into 3. He sees a hole. He tries to squeeze in there. Thought the 5 was going to leave it, and it closed. Great save by the 5 of Sam Close. Meanwhile, these guys they've been side by side the entire time we were doing that replay.
Yep, neither driver wants to give an inch. Clark with a great run off the corner, but Indelicato going to have the better line into the corner.
And he's just been driving so hard into there, Finney. Is he wearing up his right front tire doing that?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. So far, it looks like it hasn't mattered. We'll see how much worse that's going to get for him, though, as we get towards the end of the race.
0.7 of a second lead for Tanner Sharp. He was quick right from the get-go. Had to drive from the back to the front. Ended up taking 2 tires on a pit stop to gain some track position back. His teammate has not been able to follow after they tangled on the opening lap. With 10 laps to go, Sharp leads by 0.6 of a second. Can he hold off Justin Gable?
Yeah, well, last lap through, Gable was slower by 0.02 of a second, so Gable not catching the leader. He's got to turn that around, and even Grunberg, for that matter, got to turn that around if he wants a chance to win.
Looks like most of the intense battles have subsided for now. And now we put our attention back at the front of the field. Grunberg stuck in 3rd here. Finney, is he saving anything, or is it time to go?
It's time to go now, especially for him being right in behind Gable. If it was just clear between him and Sharp, it would be not much of a problem, but he's got to get around the 13 and then catch up to the 3 of Tanner Sharp.
Trying to smooth out his inputs as much as possible. And last time by, the quickest driver on the racetrack was not anyone inside the top 5. It was actually James Miller in the 09, back in 5th place. He's got a 2.5 second gap to make up, though that's not going to happen unless he has a caution. And if we have a caution, throw everything you know out the window. They're going to come down to pit lane and get tires.
Absolutely. And at that point, I would say get 4 fresh tires in the car. Maybe unless you're in the way back of the field, so maybe you can try something. But you also have got a good car underneath you as well.
Yeah, Sharp is stretching out his lead.
Yeah, 0.8 of a second now is faster than 2nd and 3rd place.
I think McEvoy wants another piece of that 51, but Delicato's starting to drive away a little bit.
Drive really hard into the corner up the inside of Kevin. Finn now battle for 10th place.
And Finn recovering after a drop down the order a little bit earlier in the night. Side by side off into turn 3, 8 laps to go. For 2nd place, here comes Grunberg to the bottom. He's going to clear Gable out of turn 4. And now he can set his sights on Sharp. We'll see if he can pick it up. Maybe there's some dirty area to deal with.
Yeah, We'll have to see here. I would still be a little bit worried about this 13. He's not going to give up just yet. He's trying to do everything he can to block the 13 to keep him from passing.
Yeah, Gable did lift, so I think he knows that Grunberg might be the only driver to go up there and be able to catch Tanner Sharp, and that means that they might be able to have a fight of their own if they slow each other down.
This will be, I think this lap will be an indicator here if Grunberg's got enough pace. He's got to knock off over a 10th a lap, though, and I can't see him doing that.
We'll see if he can do it this time, By. Sharp has clean air and the advantage of a fast driver in the cockpit, although Matt Grunberg was last year's champion in both the trucks and the Cup Series. 6 laps to go for the Mountain Dew Chevrolet of Tanner Sharp.
As he come back across the line for Tanner Sharp with a 42.45, for Grunberg a 43.4.
I can tell you that Jordan McKeeboy is getting sick and tired of people cutting him off on the front straightaway.
Still battling with the 14 and also the 28 as well.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like Grunberg is any quicker, Fenny. You just mentioned about a 10th slower for Grunberg that time.
Yeah, if anything, he needs to go in the opposite direction. You see the 14 rocket around the outside, McKeeboy down the back straightaway, and also Campbell duking it out with James Miller as well.
McKeeboy so desperately wants to get back to that 51. He drives off hard into 3.
You gotta watch out with these dives, especially as the tires start to wear off. You can dive into the corner, not really know how much grip you have left. And I'm adoring the guy, but they've been good so far. And here comes the guy in behind. That's Nathan Velez in the 48, trying to make a run on both of these.
Oh, caution! In front of them, Klusser,
straightaway.
who's hard on the fence on the front straightaway. 5 laps to go, and potentially a green-white checkered here.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a green-white checkered here.
Oh, the 31 of Campbell's in it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. Was running inside the top 5. And with 5 to go, that's huge. Daytona winner from a couple weeks ago.
I think something went ugly here between Campbell and James Miller.
There's a look. Out of turn 4. 31 got in the wall, and he's probably going to peel it off. And lost control, and Klusser, who's just a victim in this one, and oh, this is going to hurt. Oh, man.
Race Clark did a great job avoiding that. He left tire tracks trying to keep the car off the wall.
And also the, is that, I think it was the,
Kevin
Finn in the 14. Everyone just licked their chops, Finney, because this is an opportunity for them. That was an incredible job. Everyone is very excited about this because they're going to get a chance now to run for the race win. They're going to come down to pit road. Everyone's going to take 4 tires and fuel here, Finian. Maybe not fuel, but we only got 4 laps to go. Anybody try 2? Is it worth it?
Obviously, if you're in the back, I would definitely try it. It wouldn't hurt at this point. I'm trying to look at really who I think could really pull it off. Looking at the back half of the field that's still running on the lead lap, I don't really see anyone that stands out of my mind that could really pull the 2 tires off. So I'd say you're kind of better going off at 4 here.
Oh, look at Chad Frankenfield. That car is absolutely mangled. And he must have been involved in something as well.
Yes, he was as well. Yeah, not sure what it was. The entire field makes the trip down to pit road.
So how many caution attempts or green white checker attempts do we have? I think we have 2, right?
It's either 2 or 1. Let me double check.
Oh, yeah. We looked at this at Daytona. I think it was 2. We ran 2 at Daytona.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
So 2 attempts at a green white checker. This will likely be 1. But we, again, have not yet extended the distance, so we have not yet officially declared it a green white checker. It will likely become the case here shortly.
Yeah, might have to add, I think, probably maybe a lap or 2.
Yeah, 2 laps would be my guess. All right, off of pit lane. Grunberg wins the race off pit road. Nick Indelicato in 2nd, Josh Clark in 3rd, Miller in 4th. Oh, no, the 3 car just spun on pit exit.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, as long as he exits past the cone, he should get a spot back.
Well, let's take a look. Pit stop situation. 2 tires for Matt Grunberg. 2 tires for Nick Indelicato. 2 tires for Josh Clark. James Miller, 2 tires. Jordan McKeeboy, 2 tires. Velez, 2 tires. Close. And the first driver on 4 is Justin Gable. Is it worth it? Do you think that he'll be able to make up 7 positions in 2 laps?
I don't think so.
Oh, Tanner Sharp is actually be the first driver on 4 tires. And he's actually going to be up the order quite a bit here because of his spin. Where will he cycle out? This could be huge. 5th place. Looks like it. How about that?
That's a little bit more doable, but although again, I don't know. I feel like with the amount of guys that took the 2 tires, I think they might have enough guys to really kind of sort this out.
So, when it comes down to the last lap, my question to you is, do we make it back? If we get the white flag, will we make it back to the checkers without seeing one of these lead drivers involved in an accident?
I don't think so.
Think back to Michigan last year, Race Kings Cup Series. Last lap, there's no below the line rule. It was Kloosterhoos that went up underneath and cleared out a significant number of drivers making an effort. So I'm really curious to see if this will all be clean and green to the end. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a caution immediately on the restart. I am going to be surprised if we can get back clean to the checkers.
Okay, so in the rules here, it says 1. So...
Okay. So,
Don't know.
under 10 laps to go, procedures. Let's read them to you. There will be 1 single attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Oh, we just had... Uh-oh.
Uh-oh?
Yeah, uh-oh. Justin Gable just spun out.
Oh. Oh, I see Race Carton down there, too, as well. So,
What the heck?
Or did he just... Oh, I think he just...
Just warming up the tires
Warmed
and
his
just
tires.
crashed. That's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, you see
Yep.
him get behind, and around he goes.
And Race Clark. Ooh!
Oh, man.
Anyway, so now that we've seen that, let's take you back to the rules again. There will be 1 single attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Should the caution come out in the middle of the attempt to the green-white checker, the race will then finish under yellow, concluding the event. In the event of there being a 1-lap shootout, which will not be the case, so that's not going to be relevant, I won't read that. All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much all we need to know. One attempt at a green-white checkered, and this will be it.
At least it should be. If not, Corey, change your rule book.
Yeah. I could have sworn we had 2 attempts. Maybe not. Maybe we...
I think it might have been there was like an unofficial green-white checkered, and then there was an actual one.
Right, because it was
think.
close to the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually a green-white. Yeah, that could be.
That's my guess.
All right, well, we've watched 88 laps of racing, and that was the official distance that we had scheduled tonight. The race has now been extended. It will be a 90-lap race. It has now gone from 176 to 180 laps.
Completely off topic, but I just got a note from my teacher that my exam Friday, because our classes got canceled for tomorrow and Wednesday, got pushed back to next week.
You're very
This
excited,
is throwing everything.
I'm excited because that means I get to make you my slave the next couple days because I get to make you do fun things for me. I should clarify.
Don't say it like that.
I should clarify. I should clarify sim racing things. Let's make that very abundantly clear.
Yikes.
Coming back to the restart, we'll have 2 laps. If we get a caution, the race will be over. We have to make it 2 miles. We want to finish this race under green flag conditions. Matt Gruenberg is in the lead. The first driver on fresh tires is that bright green number 3 back in 5th place. Here we go. The 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series, round number 2 from Club Speedway. Green flag back in the air and a good restart for the 54. The 3-car way back. He's got a lot of ground to make up in the closing moments.
We'll see if he can do it here. As these guys come around, there's Nick and Nalicano trying to get up to speed on the inside lane. Can't quite get back up to the 54. And there's a 28-2. Josh Clark looking aggressive.
The 3-car of Tanner Sharp is the first. Oh no, there goes the 51. It's going to end under yellow. Caution, crash, in turn 2, a big pileup. And a horrible collision for the 51 and Matt Gruenberg.
Oh, it's the big one at California.
Oh, and there's someone with their hood
still
up.
wrecking down on the back straightaway. Whoa! Hackathorn going to reach the inside wall. Man.
And a lot of drivers involved in that one. Race will be official there. And there goes the hood on the 3. That was cool.
There's someone I want to take a restart with. Someone was driving to the restart with their hood up. I don't know who it was, but it was someone.
Well, white flag will fly for
Extra downforce.
Matt Gruenberg as the field comes across the start-finish line. And there's not a lot of drivers behind Matt Gruenberg on the racetrack right now.
There is not. In how about looking at some of the guys that got a really good finish out of that? Gerald Campbell in the 31. He's going to end up finishing 6th. Michael Goodman in 7th. Corey Lindsey, the day he had, he's going to get a top 10 out of all this.
So this time by, it'll be the checkered flag waving for Matt Gruenberg in the number 54. And this was not the way we expected it to end, but Matt Gruenberg, last year's champion, on a 2-tire pit stop, will claim victory tonight at Auto Club Speedway. James Miller second, Josh Clark third. And the rest of the field scrolling across the top of your screen. We'll go back and watch it here in just a minute. We'll wait for the celebrations to end, but here is your unofficial race results. 10 lead changes in this race. But for a significant portion of the field finish, I think this is not the way they wanted it. And Nick Indelicato was second on the restart. He drops to 11th after the night he had.
He's definitely going to be disappointed. Well, some of the other guys, too, that were just up toward the front. Tanner Sharp going to finish all the way back in 16th after running up inside the top 5 for, I would say, 95 to 99% of the race. So that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for him.
We will go back and watch the crash on the restart here in just a moment. We're going to wait for Gruenberg to do a celebration. 8 cautions in this race. And Matt Gruenberg going to come back around to the start-finish line. And he wins the first race of the season for the 54. First race won. Was close at Daytona, but no cigar tonight. He'll enjoy a cloud of smoke. Let's go back and take a look at the restart here and how this all went down. And it was a messy one. There's a lot of drivers that would like a redo, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it starts with the 51. He was the first car to get turned sideways. I'm not sure if he just got loose or if he...
No,
he got help.
28. Yep, just tapped him in the rear, and then it was a cascade effect down the order, the 09 getting to the 28.
Wrong camera.
Everyone else piling in.
And someone's hood. It was. I think that was the.
Was that Finn?
Finn in the 14.
Yeah. So he restarted with his hood like that.
Wow. That's. And you know what? The funny thing is he made it through this crash without being able to see anything.
I am curious how much you actually see out of here.
I mean, he navigates this like he's got X-ray vision. Just perfectly gets through it. I mean, unbelievable. With all the people slipping and crashing,
yeah,
drives right through it. So how about the 3 car that was probably the driver that was going to end up with this race win potentially if we went green to the end? Here's what he saw.
Everyone spinning in front of him.
He got clipped
by Sam Close in the 5, and he just went spinning to the wall like everyone else.
And up the road, the 5 of Sam Close was farther up the track, so he was behind the 3 here, and actually made it through the initial contact, and then he got hit later. So Sam Close kind of gets through here, and then right here, the 48 got clobbered. The 22 gets turned around, and Corey Lindsey almost got involved in his end of the collision. Corey Lindsey actually scored in 5th.
Oh, wow.
Checkered flag. Here's what Corey Lindsey saw. We're right on board with him here in just a moment.
He passed a myriad of cars on the later part. He passed a good portion of the field here.
And the C's part. And he thinks he's through. And right there goes the 84 Hackathorn. Woo, right across the racetrack. But for the 51 in Delicato, he had a chance to win this race. And he'll end it. Turned around off the nose of the 28. He comes back up the racetrack and pancakes the left side of that car. And the irony of him and the 21 getting involved, the 5 car gets up underneath the 51, pushes him hard into the fence. And back down the racetrack he went to finish 11th place tonight. We'll be back in just a moment with interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. Here with Tanner Sharp in the number 3 Blurry Motorsports car. Tanner, tonight you were up front for a little while, led 37 laps today. Had 4 fresh tires for the restart and didn't get a chance to use them. Ended up finishing 16th. How much disappointment do you have, and how much confidence do you have after running so good these past couple of weeks?
I don't know. I don't know what to say, guys. Just being, I just watched the replay of all the incidents, and that one when I was out front for like a second half or whatever it was, and the caution came out with like 5 laps to go, whatever. I just watched that, and that was kind of a bonehead move. It looked like someone in a wall and come down 5 lanes down the racetrack. So otherwise, we had it in the bag. I mean, we were just hitting our marks right. We knew we were on 4 tires. If I just hit my marks just right in every single corner of the track, I can start pulling away little by little, and that's exactly what I did. And the track position was key. And since I'm talking here, sorry for Corey for dumping him on lap 1. That was not meant to happen whatsoever. I meant to just give him a little nudge, and he's literally on the radio telling me, hey, I'll just give it to you, down turn 1. And here I just bump him, and instead of bumping him, I hook him. So I apologize for Corey. Corey should have been up towards the front tonight as well with me, leading laps as well. So, but yeah, it's a big disappointment. I don't know what else to say there is about it. Just not trying to sound cocky or anything, but this was our race. We had it in the bag until that caution came out, and then everything just went to calamity corner from there on down turn 2. So it was a good performance by this number 3 group on this Mountain Dew Chevrolet for Blurry Motorsports. Thanks for Corey for giving me the opportunity to drive for his team again this year. We're performing much better than unlike last year. So yeah, we're gonna keep on fighting. So it is what it is, I guess.
Tanner Sharp, 16th place tonight. Tanner, better luck next week. We'll see you later.
Yep, thank you.
Moving on now to James Miller, who ended up finishing 3rd tonight. James, there was a lot of drama around the racetrack tonight, but for the most part, relatively quiet night for you. Started the race back in 11th, gained all the way up to 3rd, so you got to be pretty happy with the top 5 tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Wasn't really sure what to expect. A lot of clubs, I don't really care for it. I'm not really good at these intermediate tracks of that just slight lift to set the car through the corner. Not really the best at it, but was working on long run this race for sure, because that's also another issue I have. And had a decent car. I don't know if it was, I feel like it was top 5 at a long run there, and just strategy worked out and kind of lucky cautions there at the end. And unfortunately got a incident point at the end there when they racked in front of me coming into 1, but we were able to kind of push our way through it and come out 3rd. So really happy about that. Happy about pretty much the whole team top 10, which is a lot better from Daytona, especially for me. Actually finishing a race is nice. Really good points day too. Led 10 laps, which is impressive, I guess, for how I felt coming into that race. But
James, that's really solid run tonight. Top 5 for you, so we'll see if you can get the win next week. Thanks for talking.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Moving on now to Josh Clark, who finished in second place tonight in that 28. Josh, the restart, pretty tight for everybody involved, but he got into the back of the 51, but salvaged a second place tonight. Your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to apologize to Nick in the 51. I mean, me in the 09 were just coming at, a little bit quicker than he was, and I thought we were all going to make the corner around the similar speed, but kind of misjudged it. And by the time I realized, we were all just so tight, I could have checked up and probably gotten wrecked or, tried to make it work, and I tried. But yeah, again, sorry to him, but good race. I mean, I didn't get much practice, and to come out and finish second, I led a few laps by staying out early, learned a lot, finally figured out the line about halfway through the race. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
I mean, Auto Club tonight it looked like a lot of fun out there to be able to drive off into the corner, at 180 and be able to back the car down to 150. How difficult is it to kind of utilize different lines? These cars don't have quite as much power as the Cup Series counterparts. So, was there an outside line to use at all tonight, or was it just kind of bottom feeding?
There was a little bit of an outside line. I mean, when you on corner entry, if you were able to pin somebody pretty low and kind of mess up their arc into the corner, you could hold them down there. Same thing on exit, but honestly, the bottom would probably be preferred if you're clearly faster than somebody. But yeah, as like you said about the cars, yeah, they're a little bit less powerful, but still invites a lot of nice close racing. They felt a little bogged down at the end of the straightaways. You expect these cars to kind of be singing to you, but they weren't quite tacking out. So that was a little bit of a learning curve for me as I figured out how to race them.
All right, second place for the 28 car tonight. Josh, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Finally, for our race winner and our reigning champion of the Cup and Truck Series, Matt Grunberg. Matt, tonight, he didn't lead a whole lot of laps. He led 5, and they were all towards the end of the race. But kind of a gutsy call with the 2-tire strategy. The caution kind of saved you there. Do you think it would have worked out if the caution hadn't flown?
No, Tanner definitely had that one. I wasn't going to catch it. I don't know what it was this week, or maybe I'm still just trying to get used to this new tire model. I took quite a long break over the off season. I just didn't feel like I had the speed today that I normally have. I definitely didn't feel like the fastest car. I think Tanner was the fastest car, and he deserved the win. But the caution came out late, and I was just kind of taking notes of other guys that took 2 tires earlier in the race, and it kind of seemed like they didn't really fall off too much at the beginning of the run. So I was either going to take no tires or 2 tires there at the end, and it turned out that we got the lead there at the end. And I don't know what happened into 1, but I think I would have been able to hold them off at least until we got back to the line. And then I don't know if I could have held them off for another time around or not, but the caution came out and we ended up getting the win that I don't think we deserved, but it worked out for us.
Next week, we head to Lime Rock Park for a doubleheader, a road racing at a track that it's pretty tight and twisty. I mean, are you excited for that or a little bit nervous for it next week?
I am neither. I'm not a big fan of road courses, but I'm going to do some extra practice this week, so hopefully I can get a little bit more speed back.
Well, Matt Gruberg has the speed at Fontana tonight, goes to victory lane at Auto Club Speedway. Matt, thanks for talking to us. Congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. See you.
And just like that, that'll be the end of the broadcast here tonight, Finian. Pretty wild night all around. Pretty entertaining racing, though, at the very least. Got to see some spectacular wrecks, but this new damage model has changed more than just the visual damage. It's changed the hitboxes, how all the cars interact, and it's definitely a learning curve for some of these drivers.
Yeah, definitely I think we're going to see quite a bit of it in use, especially as you go on to next week at Lime Rock for the doubleheader, and also, if I'm not mistaken, there should be a short track coming up.
Bristol right after.
Yep.
So we got coming up on the schedule, Lime Rock, Bristol, Milwaukee, and then Texas. For the next month or so. So very excited for that. Make sure you join us tomorrow night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, because it's going to be Indy Roval Racing with the Fuel Premier Series, sponsored by Mission 22. So join us for that. And then on Thursday, Scars Ferrari Challenge from the Charlotte Roval. That'll be a fun one. A lot of Roval racing this week, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9.